Our world runs on a subtle lubricant of convenient fictions, from polite compliments to global diplomacy. But imagine if that lubricant vanished overnight, leaving only the abrasive friction of pure, unblinking truth. And let's find the answer to the question, what if? In a world devoid of lies, personal relationships would face the ultimate test, becoming an unfiltered mirror reflecting raw reality. The demise of social graces would be immediate and profound. White lies, polite fictions, and diplomatic omissions, once lubricants of daily interaction, would vanish entirely. Imagine the discomfort of telling your aunt her birthday gift is truly awful, or frankly informing your boss that their idea is fundamentally flawed. Everyday interactions would be stripped bare, fostering an environment of brutal, unvarnished honesty that could feel both liberating and excruciating. Consequently, the very foundations of trust would undergo a radical transformation. No longer about the possibility of deception, trust would hinge on one's emotional capacity to bear another's unblinking truth. Relationships would either deepen into unprecedented authenticity or crumble under the relentless weight of absolute transparency. Society would then be compelled to evolve a new etiquette of honesty. Perhaps the focus would shift from blunt delivery to the deliberate asking of questions, encouraging individuals to only seek truths they are emotionally prepared to confront, thus creating boundaries in a world without explicit deceit. Absolute transparency would fundamentally reshape the very pillars of society. In economics, deception would vanish, advertising would become purely factual, negotiation stripped of bluffs, and market speculation based solely on verifiable truth. Companies could not mislead about product quality or financial health, rendering traditional marketing obsolete. Politically, campaigns would hinge on undeniable facts and guaranteed policy proposals, eliminating spin. Corruption would be impossible to hide, ushering in unprecedented accountability, though potentially causing gridlock as uncomfortable truths always surfaced. Justice too would transform. Courtrooms would see no perjury or false alibis. The focus would shift from uncovering what happened to interpreting motives and applying laws to undeniable facts, making the legal system incredibly efficient, yet potentially stark. In a world without lies, the psychological and emotional landscape would be drastically reshaped, presenting an unbearable weight. Personal privacy, as we know it, would largely erode. Any question about thoughts, feelings, or past experiences would demand an uncomfortable, unavoidable revelation, challenging the very concept of an inner world truly separate from public scrutiny. This constant, unblinking honesty would impose an immense psychological burden. Imagine being a perpetual conduit of unvarnished reality, always delivering unfiltered and often painful truths. The stress would be profound. Furthermore, while outright deception might vanish, emotional pain wouldn't. Hurt, anger, embarrassment, and resentment would still flourish, perhaps even more intensely, now rooted in undeniable spoken truths rather than the ambiguity of perceived untruths. This radical transparency would force a constant, often brutal, confrontation with reality. In a world without lies, the very fabric of creativity and connection would undergo a profound shift. Storytelling and entertainment would evolve dramatically. Purely fabricated narratives might yield to stories rooted in undeniable, profound truths. Perhaps allegories or meticulously accurate historical accounts, gaining a new resonance. Propaganda naturally would become an impossibility. Innovation, particularly in science and technology, would accelerate at an incredible pace, unhindered by misdirection, false claims, or the deliberate withholding of proprietary secrets when directly questioned. Collaboration would thrive. Most significantly, human connection, stripped of all superficiality and pretense, could reach unprecedented depths. Relationships would be forged on an unshakable foundation of absolute truth, fostering a raw, authentic intimacy, for better or worse. Unforeseen consequences and adaptations would reshape a world of absolute truth. Constant conflict might become a new reality. Without the ability to soften blows or strategically withhold information, disputes could escalate rapidly. Diplomacy would require entirely new frameworks, built solely on pure, unvarnished negotiation. Society would also deeply reevaluate kindness and cruelty. The act of not asking a question could become a profound act of compassion, as the boundary between necessary truth and gratuitous cruelty turns into a central ethical dilemma. Ultimately, individuals would undergo an uncomfortable evolution of self, confronting their own truths and flaws without the softening filters of self-deception or social niceties, leading to a challenge challenging, yet potentially more authentic path to self-understanding. Absolute truth would dismantle deception, creating radical transparency but immense social friction and psychological burdens, redefining human connection. In your opinion, what if everyone was forced to tell the truth all the time? Share your thoughts in the comments.